Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome to the show. We are excited to speak with Julia Amisano. She's our vocal coach and, of course, owner of Grace Music Studio. So we're excited that she's here talking to us today about all the work she does and how she can help you and especially train that voice, whether it's the singing, acting lessons she does, piano lessons, beginners through professionals. She's here to help us all with what we need. Julia, how are you today?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here with you today, Jill.
Well, same here. Honored. A fellow New Yorker. You're in Brooklyn, right?
Yes, I'm in Park Slope, Brooklyn. Yeah,
beautiful.
We're neighbors.
I miss that neighborhood. I used to be over in Whitestone, but all of my doctors were in Brooklyn. Yeah, now I live on Long Island, and but the New York is big, but it's also small. But such a beautiful neighborhood you're in, and I miss those days of walking down the streets of Brooklyn and Queens, and now with kids it's a little harder. But anyway, Julia, thank you for being here. So first and foremost, would you mind telling us a little bit about what it is you do?
I am a vocal coach. I'm a singing teacher, and I'm also working on a reality TV project about how singing changes regular people's lives.
Wow, I didn't see that part in your notes. Thank you for sharing. This is exciting. We're going to talk. I know you also, as an artist, you also, you have a course, and we can even order, I know you have a CD out, right? And music on iTunes. Tell us the website. Where do we find out more about you?
So the best place to go is to my Instagram, which is Grace Music Studio NY, like New York, and Grace is spelled GARCE, Music Studio STUDIO NY, like New York. That's my Instagram, and there's a link tree, a link tree for all my links in my bio. You can also go to www.gracemusicstudiony.com.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Well, it's a pleasure having you here, and would love to kind of get to know you and maybe, get to know a little bit about your backstory before we get into what we want to focus on. I want to know, and understand you.
Ask me anything.
Well, I know you've always wanted to become a singer, right? So tell me about your childhood.
Oh, wow. Getting deep. Okay. So I was one of those kids as a child that when, everybody asks kids, you know this because you have kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I was always like, I want to be a singer. And they would get this weird look on their face. And they'd be like, okay, well, what else do you want to be? And I was like, well, okay, then I want to be an astronaut. And they were like, they just walked away. I was like, well, good, because I want to be a singer anyway. I always wanted to be a singer from the time I was like 6 years old.
Wow. Well, do you remember, I'm sure your family could attribute to this, were you always singing? Was there someone musical in your family that you attribute this talent to?
That's a very good question. So both of my parents were musicians. My mom is a singer. My dad was a clarinetist. But I was very shy. I was very, very shy. I wasn't I think it was this fear of being judged. The voice is so personal. I didn't want, especially not my parents, I didn't want any professional musicians or anybody else weighing in and telling me I could sing or I couldn't sing. Yeah. It was like a dream, but I didn't want anybody to hear me.
Oh, my goodness. Well, then, so at the age of 6, now here you are, and you really know you want to be a singer. Now, are you also, since your parents are musicians as well, were you learning the piano? Were you learning instruments at a young age?
I wasn't. My mom did give me voice lessons when I was about 15, and to her credit, really to her credit, because at a teenager taking singing lessons with your mom, it was just, I wound up in tears every single time. Yes, because, I think she was really trying to help me, but she's an old school teacher, one of those old school, no, this. And she would tell other people, oh, my daughter Julia is my best student, but she would never, ever tell me that.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So I was always like, oh, it's, yeah. It was hard.
Oh my goodness. So you were spending many years singing to yourself, you said, right? So how did you overcome this fear? What was that pivotal moment in your life?
Oh, that's a great question. So I spent time with my grandmother a lot. My grandmother was very non-judgmental, and I spent a lot of time with her, hanging out, tooling around she had a Cadillac, and she had an 8-track tape player in the car. So way back then, we used to listen to Carole King, Tapestry, and Charlie Rich's Behind Closed Doors. And I loved them. I knew all the words. I knew all the melodies. But I didn't even want to sing in front of my grandmother. I was like, I'm just going to blend. I learned how to sing like under my breath. I like blended with the music. And then when I was about 13 years old, I went to music camp. And this was typical, if you've ever seen like American Pie or typical band camp. I was a total nerd. So I was going to this summer band camp where I had to sing. We would rehearse for 8 hours a day. We had a performance at the end. Yep. And there was a solo. And I really, really wanted a solo. And I thought to myself, well, you don't know anybody, so you might as well just try. I mean, they can't really judge you. You're already in the chorus, so worst comes to worst, you'll just sing in the chorus. So I went and I learned the music. It was a John Michael Talbot Mass.
Wow.
A huge work of music. And so I had to learn it before I went. And I learned the solo piece, and I worked on it and worked like thousands of hours. Wow. All right, maybe that's an exaggeration. I was 13. But anyway,
hundreds.
It felt like that. Yeah. And so I went to sing for the solo, and I got the solo. And then they told me, this is great. This concert is going to be televised. And then I was really freaking out.
Oh, no.
So I was like,
I'm feeling it. I'm getting this pit in my stomach.
I know. Yes. So picture this. I'm standing on stage. The conductor is conducting. The orchestra is playing. The choir is behind me, but it feels like it's a mile behind me. So like just myself and the TV lights on me, and I'm young, so I'd never had this experience. And I thought there was this long intro, and I thought, oh my gosh, I don't remember what the first word is. I don't remember what I'm supposed to sing. And I thought, okay, it's either going to come out or it's not going to come out. And it did. Yay!
Yay!
I know. I was so relieved. That was my pivotal moment, because at that point I said to myself, okay, you can do this. Yes. You have to work hard.
Yes.
But you can do this. That was my pivotal moment.
Wow. And with that experience and how you as a vocal coach now empathize with so many, I'm sure that feel that way, that have been in that shoes of fear and being fearful to perform. And that's so beautiful. Well, thank you. I appreciate you sharing that personal story with us. And of course, we'd love to, move forward here and find out about how the other people are doing that you're helping, because, you mentioned that, learning how to sing really transforms and can change someone's life. So I want to talk about that. And, how you mentioned singing is a skill that everyone can learn. Well, I can't. See, I'm scared. I don't have a good voice. I never did. I have a voice for television to talk, but I can't hit a high note. You're going to tell me I can't. No.
You are my perfect client. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
You are.
Oh my gosh.
This is my whole mission in life, to help people who want to sing but feel they can't because they, quote, weren't born with a good voice. Mm-hmm. It's a learned skill.
So anyone can learn it. That's beautiful to know, really.
And it's also your birthright. So if you ask any 5-year-old, how old are your kids?
7 and 9.
Yeah. Ask your 7-year-old, girl or boy?
2 boys.
2 boys. So ask your 7-year-old, what's his name?
Jackson.
Jackson, can you sing? He'll say yes. Yes, I can.
Oh, yeah.
And he will sing you.
He does all the time, and now he's only singing
That's
Christmas
right.
songs. And actually, my older son, Austin, who's 9, has his first chorus concert December 9th, so I've never heard him sing. He's more shy, but the fact he's part of the concert, and I'm just so ecstatic, and I can't wait to see those little young voices and those little bodies on stage, right? To just
Totally.
singing their hearts out. And you're right. Any kid says, I think I can sing. And you know what?
That's right.
As a kid, I thought I can sing too until I looked back on a videotape. I was 12. Okay, let me just go back. Hard place in my life. But I was in a pageant at the age of 12, and my talent, I chose singing. My mom never told me, Jill, you can't sing. I think someone should have told me maybe you should choose dancing instead of singing. But I look back at the tape and I just I'm humiliated. But at the same time, I say, wow, but I really thought I could sing, even though listening to it, your ears would cringe, but it's still effort. And you could tell that I was so passionate about singing, but even though I really wasn't a great singer, but yeah. So I have a little experience in this department of thinking I could sing when I really couldn't. But you now telling me at the age of 46, I can sing. So, okay, maybe there is potential.
Here's the thing. So you hear people say, so this is a great example. Everybody says, it's only confidence. It's not only confidence. You do not only need confidence to sing. Your 7-year-old had lots of confidence. Mm-hmm. You had lots of confidence. It's technique. Mm-hmm. So you have to learn how to do it. And once you start to learn how to do it, you're like, oh, okay, this is pretty simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. If it were easy, I wouldn't have a job. I'd probably be a kindergarten teacher.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, so as you start to learn, you gain confidence because you hear yourself. We record everybody's lesson. You hear yourself getting better and better, and you can now do things that you couldn't do. Yeah. And this is why you are my
perfect candidate.
Perfect candidate, because it's so rewarding to see somebody. It's rewarding when a professional singer comes to me and says, I need help with this riff, or I need help with this, piece, or I have a big audition or whatever. That's rewarding. But it's even more rewarding when somebody who thinks they can't sing now can.
Wow.
They learn it and they're like, whoa, yeah, my life is changed now.
Oh my goodness.
I have so many stories.
I was going to ask, could you share some of your client stories with us?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So a good example, I'll share 3 or 4 of them. So I had this student, she was about 19 years old. She lived with her parents. She was sort of stalled in life. And she called me up and she said, I used to sing when I was little. So another example, right? When I was little. And I remember it just made me so happy. I really want to get back to that happy place and sort of figure out how to launch my life. I feel like I can't launch my life without knowing what makes me happy. Can I come and take some lessons? And I was like, yeah, I teach grown-ups all the time. Yeah, come. So she came for lessons, and I learned through teaching her that she was very, very close to her grandfather, who in the course of our lessons passed away. Now, her family knew that she was taking lessons, and they asked her, can you sing at the funeral? And so she said to me, oh my God, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't sing in front of people, especially not my family. And I was like, Annie, you can do it. You really can. But let's just pick a piece of music. We picked Dancing in the Sky by Danny and Lizzie. It's a beautiful song. Yeah. And when we get closer, you'll have to tell them, you'll have to make a decision. But let's work on the music first, work on it, and then you can make a decision. So I remember the last lesson that she had, where she had to make a decision the next day. She had a lesson. She texts me, I'm in a cab. I'm not going to make my lesson. I don't think I can do this. We're stuck in traffic. And I called her, and I was like, okay, Annie, let's do your lesson in the cab. And she was like, really? I'm like, yep. Let's do it. So she started doing her exercises in the cab. She sings her piece in the cab. And when she got out of the cab driver said, wow, you have such a beautiful voice. And she came running up to my apartment. She was like, Julia, the cab driver said I have a good voice and he doesn't know me at all. And I'm like, I know, Annie, you can do this.
Wow.
And she was like, you really think so? I'm like, I really do. She sang for her grandfather's funeral. She told me she thought he was proud of her. But the biggest thing was she now moved out of her family's house. She's in a nursing course in Florida.
Oh, my goodness.
That was the biggest thing. It launched her into, I can do things in my life.
Oh, that is beautiful.
I'm capable.
That is beautiful. Wow. All right, go ahead. I want to hear more stories. Go ahead.
Okay. So this is something that maybe you can relate to in terms of karaoke. So I had a student, mid-40s, came in and said, I'm a guy. I'm always being asked at work to go to karaoke. And as a kid, they told me to not sing. I was in chorus and they were like, you don't sing, you just mouth the words. And I'm like, what? It's terrible, right?
Yeah.
So his name was Tim. So when he first came, I would play a pitch on the piano and he couldn't match it. No matter what I played, he couldn't match it. But I was like, don't worry, Tim. We're going to do this together. After several months, he got better and better and better and better and better and better. And then finally, he went, it took several months, but he finally went to karaoke. I texted him, how did it go? He's like, I rocked it. I was like, yeah, you did.
Oh, my goodness.
I was like, show me what you're working with. And then he wrote back, I feel invincible.
Wow.
That's what he wrote, right? Yeah, and I have a student who, she works in emergency services, so in a very male-dominated workplace, and they kept telling her, we can't hear you. We can't hear you, we can't hear you. So this was just about speaking. This is not about singing. And she was like, I feel like I'm going to lose my job. Like, if they can't hear me. And I was like, don't worry about it. We are going to physically amp you up, get you to have the physical stamina that you need. And now, a year later, right after a year, she was like, everybody can hear me. I can go toe-to-toe with the guys.
Oh, my goodness.
And I was like, yes, you can. She didn't lose her job. She got a promotion. Yep. And the last example I'll share with you is somebody that you would not think is a candidate for singing lessons.
Okay.
A good friend of mine has hearing aids in both ears.
Okay.
And thought that he would never be able to sing. And is a very spiritual person. So he was wanting to, every spiritual service, wherever you go, singing is a big part of it. And he always just felt left out. So I was like, okay, I'm going to teach you this technique. I use a vibration technique so he could tell whether he was on pitch by where he was feeling the vibration in his body.
Wow.
And now he can sing with his spiritual group. So truly anyone can learn. It's amazing. I have so many stories. This is just like the tip of the iceberg.
And you just seem, so empathetic, understanding, and that's also it too. You have to feel comfortable with you. But I mean, I get, I can pick up on energy, and you're so sweet. You could be like my best friend, and like I feel like you wouldn't judge me if I tried, singing right now. Like and that's what you have to gain your clients' trust too, because I would be so nervous to start just singing for you, for anyone. I sing with my kids in the car, in the shower, but everyone fears, being judged and not good enough. And then it's like, well, we all have our own talents. But that's so beautiful with what you do and how you're making so many people, at ease. And wow. And I mean, we still have more time to talk, but I know we got to talk about the reality show too. We got to talk about how are we doing these classes and then the coaching. So this is virtual, or is it online like we are on Zoom?
Yep.
Do you do in-person coaching too?
And in person.
Okay.
Yep. In Brooklyn. So people come to me in my studio in Brooklyn, which is where I am right now. And I have students I have one student who commutes from Scotland to Germany back and forth. So we have to work our schedules. So I have students on the West Coast. So I can teach anybody anywhere.
Oh my goodness. I love it. And they're individual sessions, or do you do group sessions as well?
I do only individual private one-on-one lessons for kids as young as 5. And my oldest student passed away actually just last year. She was 93. and she'd studied with me for 20 years.
Oh, God bless.
And she was still being asked to sing in church.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Even right up till like 6 months before she died. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And she was the inspiration. She was my partner and inspiration for a Christmas caroling project that I do with my students every year. We go caroling for people in nursing homes.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
just to lift them up. And so I'm always like, okay, jingle bells, everybody knows that. Sing that. Dreidel, dreidel. Everybody knows dreidel. Everybody sing. It's really fun.
Oh, that's beautiful. Wow. And this time of year, right? Something to uplift, your neighbors. We did, not last year, the year before, Christmas caroling with my cousins who were in their 40s and my kids. And obviously, it's not like we're great singers, but the joy of walking around, going door to door and bringing Christmas cheer with our voices was so cool. And,
awesome.
Because I still see neighbors sometimes say, oh, you guys were the kids. You came and sang. And we're like, yeah. So like, people remember that. That's such a feel-good feeling to hear voice. It's just so beautiful. So, wow. And now, walk me through this. Okay, so when did you start coaching, right? And tell me a little bit about your career as well.
Yeah. So I was a professional singer and actor. I did a whole bunch of touring shows, and I constantly, even in high school, people would ask me, Julia, can you help me? Can you help me with my lines? Can you help me with my singing? So I wasn't a teacher in high school, but people would, because I was so into it. Mm-hmm. I was so into singing, and I never wanted to leave anybody behind. And I knew that feeling of like, that fear of being judged. And so my mentor, DJ, who was my high school theater teacher.
That's right. Really, I read that as your mentor. Yes, tell me more.
Yeah. She really instilled in me. She would meet me early, stay late with me. She gave me so much one-on-one attention. She gave me a feeling of being able to express in a safe place. So she really did that for me. And I always wanted to pass it on. And then when I met my mentor, I had a second mentor, Amma, who's behind me over there. She's like a world figure. Aww. So her whole MO is giving back. And so when I met Amma, I was like, oh my gosh, she has orphanages. Oh. She has hospitals. Like, I can't do that. What can I give? Like, what can I give back? Oh, I can teach people how to sing. Because I have the skills. I have a master's degree. I can help them. So I started to transition from just singing professionally to, I was like, all right, I had a hunch that everybody could learn it. And now I'm 25 years in. Wow. So I have so many stories of students who couldn't sing and now can.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Yep. And it's really cool.
And now, okay, walk me through. I know we don't have that much more time, like 5 minutes, but hopefully we get to speak again. And then there's this whole reality show thing. Oh, what is going on with this? This is exciting.
It's all about regular people and regular people who have a dream to sing that changes their lives. It's a makeover show, like Queer Eye, or did you ever watch What Not to Wear?
No, I never have.
Oh, it's such a great show.
What is it on? I never heard of it.
What Not to Wear was, it's like, 15 years old or something, but it was a makeover show where they took regular people and they got them new clothes. They had a new hairstylist, right? Mm-hmm. And this is a show like that about singing. So, for example, somebody wants to sing to their fiance to propose.
Oh, my goodness.
An 80-year-old has never sung, has always wanted to sing on a stage. Those are our stories. And so if you want to learn more about my singing reality TV project, you can go to liberteo.com. I'll spell it for you. libertao.com, liberteo.com, and click on the link that says The Singing Coach. The show is called The Singing Coach, and you can get in touch with us. You can read more about it. Get in touch. Maybe you want to be on screen. Maybe you have a big story. Maybe you want to help. You want to be on the team. Maybe you just get in touch and say, hey.
Wow, this is amazing. This is great stuff. And, if someone out there is listening today, no matter where you are, if you're interested in finding your voice, you're a great person to start with, right? And we can call you, reach out to you. Do you offer an initial free consultation, or is there how does that part work?
Yes, for today, for our listeners, I have a very special offer. So my special offer is a free, totally free, that means you too, Jill.
Yes, thank you.
Free 30-minute consultation with me. If you go to bit.ly, which is bit.ly/sing today in all caps. bit.ly/sing today. All one word, sing today. You will have access to my online calendar, and you can sign yourself up for a spot to have a free consultation. And I'm giving 20% off for our listeners today. First lesson and any holiday gifts. So a singing lesson is a really beautiful holiday gift to give someone.
Oh my goodness, that is beautiful. That is a great idea. And also, you mentioned that improving people's singing in 5 to 10 minutes is pretty impressive. And you're able to help people improve so quickly. Could you just share how?
I can't give away all my professional secrets, but I created a method that has 3 steps: breathing, support, and what I call phonation. So phonation is where the sound vibrates in your face. So if you're belting something out, or if you're singing like opera, those are 2 different places. It's the same note, but 2 different places in your face. Wow. And Angelina Jolie was just in the movie Maria. And she said, and I quote, "Vocal training was the best therapy I have ever had."
Really?
It's in Variety.
Oh my goodness! I gotta look up that article.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Oh my goodness. And, this is awesome that she's offering that free 30-minute consultation and everyone. And again, 20% off your first lesson. So we got to go to the website. We got to check you out. Or again, Instagram, Grace Music Studios NY. And this is great stuff you're doing. And let me ask, in all your years, you've been coaching, I could only imagine, so many people. Do you also work with children as well?
I do, yep. Children as young as 5 and children as young as 93.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's so sweet, that woman. Oh, my goodness. Beautiful. She was 93, you said, right?
Yeah.
And then you also have a DVD, isn't it, as well?
I have a course on Udemy.
That's what it is.
And I have a classical CD that I sell on Amazon and on my website. That's
and a music theory book too, right?
And a music theory book on if you want to learn how to read and write music. Yep. And that's all on gracemusicstudiony.com. So, gracemusicstudiony.com.
Aww.
But the biggest deal is some people are not on Instagram.
Yes.
On Instagram, there's a link tree to all my links. There's a link tree to the bit.ly, to the website.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you so much.
Instagram is same.
Well, I'm excited I got to meet you. I hope we get to connect again. And if we do, I would love to put you on the spot and hear you sing, and you can try to make me sing, even though I really don't sing. I
would love to give you a lesson.
I'm up for anything. If we talk again, put me on the spot. I don't care. I'm a mom at this point. I'm 46. There's really not much I'm to be too embarrassed about. So I remember even with, voice with working in broadcasting, I did have lessons, and I know the breathing, always an issue for me because a lot of times when I was working on television, I'm breathing opposite. I'm sucking in because I want to keep so I would always restrict my breathing. Now I learned to, open up the diaphragm, but still, I'm not a great breather, but I know
that's the breath for singing or speaking well versus just breathing.
Yeah. So I have
It's a specific technique for singing.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I can't wait to learn. Thank you so much. I want to wish you a very happy, healthy Thanksgiving. Okay.
You too. Please sign up for the free consultation, Jill,
All
on
right.
bit.ly/sing today.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you here.
Welcome.
Have a great day. Thank you so
too.
much. Bye-bye.
Broadcast Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Can I touch this? Where does sand come from? Is this tree good for climbing? What happens if I mix these two things together? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Storing your guns securely is the best way to prevent family fire, including unintentional shootings. For more information on safe gun storage and ways to keep your family safe, visit endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org.
What do we keep in the attic? What's this thing called? Can I ride my bike backwards?
Like I said, kids are curious. It's up to us to keep them safe. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.